Chapter 7. Strata Properties, Condominiums, and Cooperatives in British Columbia. Which one of the following statements is false? Assuming the standard bylaws have not been amended, the Strata Council may pass rules with respect to the safety and cleanliness of individually owned strata lots. Consider a building for which a strata plan was filed in August of 2011. In the event that the building is destroyed and the Strata Corporation passes a resolution not to rebuild, how will the proceeds of any insurance policy be distributed? According to a conversion schedule based upon the most recent assessed values of the strata lots. Which one of the following is not a remedy available to the owner of a strata lot who is dissatisfied with certain actions of the Strata Corporation? The owner may file a lien against the Strata Corporation. Which of the following best describes the Strata Corporation? The individual strata owners collectively, once the strata plan has been deposited at the Land Title Office. Which of the following is true? In a strata plan, the term unit entitlement refers to the number used to calculate a strata owner's contribution to the common expenses of the Strata Corporation. Under the Strata Property Act, strata corporations are obligated to do certain things. Which of the following is not a duty the Strata Corporation is obliged to carry out? The performance of work ordered by a competent public authority in respect of a strata lot. With respect to bylaws in a strata development, which of the following statements is true? Bylaws provide for the control and management of the strata lots and common property. The interest that is acquired by a buyer of a strata lot is a fee simple interest in the strata lot and a fee simple interest as a tenant in common with respect to the common property. The Strata Property Act does not permit a strata corporation to prohibit strata lot owners from selling their lots to non-residents of British Columbia. Which of the following statements regarding strata properties is true? A bylaw that is passed by a strata corporation cannot be enforced against a strata lot owner unless or until it has been filed in the appropriate Land Title Office. According to the Strata Property Act, which of the following statements is true? An estate in fee simple is created for each individual strata lot by the registration and approval of the Registrar of Land Titles of a strata plan. Jane purchased a condominium on the understanding that pets were permitted by the bylaws of the Strata Corporation. Later, the corporation passed a bylaw prohibiting any owner from keeping any animal on their strata lot. When Carl subsequently purchased his lot, he was aware of this new bylaw. The Strata Council has ordered the removal of Jane's dog and Carl's cat from their lots. Which of the following statements is false? The schedule of standard bylaws allows an owner one dog or one cat, and therefore Carl and Jane can keep their pets. Common property in a strata title development is any property not designated as strata lots on a strata plan. Which of the following statements regarding strata plans is true? A strata plan is filed in the Land Title Office and designates which parts of a strata project are strata lots and which are common property. George bought 2 units in a 10-unit strata development. Within 1 week of the completion of this purchase, some of the owners of another strata unit, the Smithy family, were killed in an accident in the jacuzzi whirlpool. Mrs. Smithy was the sole survivor of this family. The pool is located on the common property in which George now owns an interest. Mrs. Smithy is suing the Strata Corporation and George is concerned about the extent of his liability for any damage award she may receive. Assuming that the Strata Corporation is found liable to Mrs. Smithy, which of the following statements correctly describes George's liability? George must pay his proportionate share of any judgment registered against the common property of the Strata Corporation. Which of the following is not a statutory remedy available to an owner of a strata lot who is dissatisfied with certain actions or omissions of the Strata Corporation? A court may issue a judgment against the Strata Corporation, but not against all owners. Which of the following is not one of the obligations imposed on a strata corporation under the Strata Property Act? The obligation to maintain liability insurance of no less than $5 million on the strata project. Which of the following is false with respect to strata lot ownership? The sole purpose of creating a strata corporation is to limit the liability of the corporation members. When a strata corporation grants an owner or tenant of a strata lot the permission to exclusively use common property as a short-term exclusive use. The permission may be granted by a majority vote of the strata council if the permission does not involve a significant change in the use or appearance of the common property. A strata lot in British Columbia in an exclusively residential complex is owned by two persons as joint tenants. At every meeting of the strata corporation, the owners are entitled to a total of one vote. Which of the following statements comparing cooperatives and condominiums is true? Buyers of condominiums will generally find it easier to finance their purchase than will buyers of cooperatives. Who owns the common property of a strata corporation? Each individual strata lot owner owns a share of the common property of a strata corporation in the proportions set out in the Schedule of Unit Entitlement. Which of the following correctly describes an interest in land that is acquired by a buyer of a strata lot? A fee simple interest in the strata lot, and a fee simple interest in the common property as a tenant in common with the other strata lot owners. A strata plan is filed in the Land Title Office and designates which parts of a strata projects are strata lots and which are common property. Which of the following statements comparing condominiums and cooperatives is false? Buyers of both condominiums and cooperatives acquire ownership of a fee simple interest in land.